Hello and welcome back to the FlurrySports Podcast. My name is Zach Bruner, and with me, as always, is Jake Osman. How's it going, Jake?
Oh, we are going good, Zach. I just want to put it out there for the audience. I just had all of my students move out this weekend, so I feel amazing. Oh man, 250 souls have been lifted off my back, dude. Had explained to a student how to use a vacuum this weekend. Had to tell a dad that it wasn't my choice not to have an elevator. There's a lot of things going on. Dad was like, that should be your top priority for next year. And I was like, my bad, dude. I'll add it to the
Got
list.
It. Yeah, how dare you?
Don't know if it's in the budget. I got to see if I can get tape first. All right? We'll work around it. But we're doing good. You are listening to the FlurrySports Podcast. If you like what you hear today, why don't you rate the show? We appreciate it. 5 stars does a lot. Share it. That's a great call too, because the FlurrySports Podcast surprisingly still good, like the Tampa Bay Lightning, Zach, who can rot in hell. They are, I'm going to say it, I came to this conclusion this weekend, my least favorite team in sports right now.
Just because they're always good?
They're always fucking good. And their coach with his cigar swinging ways, so here's why I think I don't like them, and the reason I want to talk about it, because I had a really hard time articulating for years, and our early shows talked about this a lot more, articulating why I hated the San Antonio Spurs so much during the Popovich era. And now when everyone's like, God, the Lightning suck, I'm like, it's them. This is the Spurs. That's all this is, except they're skating now. Tim Duncan learned how to skate. That's it. There's no bats on the ice, but otherwise Manu's out there right now. Like the Lightning, Khrushchev and the gang are just them, dude. Vasilitsky, the boys are just Tim Duncan on ice, ice capades for the Spurs. So I just like the fact that everyone is like, yeah, the Lightning are so good. They rest up. They were like the 3rd seed in their conference. Everyone's like, it's not their year. They're up 3-0. They're about to definitely win the Stanley Cup again. And it sucks. If I had to bet on whose dreams they were going to crush, I don't know, Colorado probably again. Rangers, knock them up, knock them down, bring it on. Like any team who's dreaming a little big, bring it to the ice. Right. So I just it's hard for me to care about hockey, and I will say hockey has done one. I think Tampa Bay is as good a villain in sports right now as there is, because that sense of oh, they've kind of lost a step. We weren't really trying all year, and then you get into the playoffs and you just curb stomp people is I think that's my least favorite thing about teams in sports. Tom Brady and the Patriots did that for years. Spurs. I think this was just underlining God. Screw the Lightning, man. Tampa
well,
Bay.
They took it to a completely new level last year when they're like, oh, there's no salary cap in the playoffs. We're just going to sign people and away we go. And then this year, to your point, yeah, everyone counted them out. It's okay, well, we know who the team from Florida is. It is the Florida Panthers, best team in hockey, most exciting team in hockey. And then to your point, they're down 3 games to Tampa Bay, and we're all shocked. Who's shocked? It's the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yeah. I mean, and we're a big storyline podcast, right? That was a very Stu Gatz Flemmy moment on my part too. Sorry, but so it's right now as they sit in the playoffs, they're up 3-0 over the Panthers, which you said, blows, right? That really blows because they're going to have game 4 on home ice. That stinks. They're probably going to win that. Then maybe the Rangers are up. No, sorry, they're down 2-1. They won their first game today. I got confused on that. But so maybe they play the Canes and crush them too because they're the other good team.
Mm-hmm.
I could see and then play Avs in the championship. What if they just sweep the teams all year? We were these are the best 3 teams in hockey, and they just get stomped by Tampa Bay. That feels like that's what's coming.
Well, entering the postseason, it was okay, there's a lot of good teams. There should be a pretty competitive playoffs, but then the Avalanche are clearly head and shoulders above everybody.
Yeah.
And they've given us 0 reason to think otherwise. But to your point, if it gets to the Stanley Cup and they get swept by the Lightning, what the fuck do we do? We just throw everything. It's like, okay, well, it clearly doesn't matter now until the playoffs, and then all of a sudden we just got to bet. Because even still, right now, Jake, you could triple your money if you bet on the Lightning to win the Stanley Cup. And it seems stupid not to do that.
It does. Well, especially like even like outside of like the booking stuff. Right now, they're the only team up 3-0. Like if you were looking to bet on someone right now, why wouldn't you bet on them? They're the only team I'm confident is making it out of their series right now.
Yeah, and the Avalanche are like you double your money. Hockey's pretty competitive. Sportsbooks are pretty much just like, we just want you to bet on hockey because no one bets on hockey.
Right,
so
that's fair. It's a good bet. That's a good bet. I will say, there is one team that if they were to make a run, I maybe would hate more than the Lightning. Do you know who they are? The only team that I would root for the Lightning against.
It's not the Rangers, is it?
Nah, I'd take a shit on the St. Louis Blues, dude. The Blues can take a hike. My Wild fan heart is like, the Blues are just the worst team in the whole world. They are the Yankees to my Minnesota Twins. They're just always waiting. Oh, you had a good year. Oh, meet me in the parking lot, Tanya Harding. Bam, there's your knees. Yeah. St. Louis Blues every year, ready to slash the tires.
What are the Wild doing? They were so good all year. They're like, they were so good. Like, we're actually going to win this year. You know what we should do at the deadline? Let's trade for the goalie who never is good in the playoffs. Like Marc-Andre Fleury, regular season MVP. But once he gets to the playoffs, and notably terrible in Minnesota of any place, it's like he kind of chokes in the postseason, but he definitely is terrible at the XL Energy Center.
I think they should have tried to talk Heinrich Lundqvist into coming back. Give him a little heart surgery, help him out, get him back in there.
I mean, I think they should have tried to get Suter. Where is he? He's in Dallas now. They shouldn't even have a hockey team. What are we doing? Get Suter in the goal. Put him between the pipes. He can do it.
I know. Listen, for a Wild fan, as soon as I saw we would have had to go through St. Louis and the Avs, I'm like, Minnesota's worst fucking nightmare. There's no way we're getting through those two heartbreakers. No way. But I don't know. We've talked about playoff hockey a lot on the show and how good it is. And like,
so good.
They just do I think they do team stories so good. It's so easy just to watch a game and figure out like who to root for. Again, just give me 3 guys to cheer for. I just still need names. Also, maybe if we could get some guys to change their names to things that are easier to pronounce.
Yeah, I don't know. Consonants. A couple more vowels, please.
Yeah, true. Why is it like a rule in hockey? Like, why are the kids with all the K's in their name so good?
No kidding. But yeah, Stanley Cup playoffs are so good. It's also good because, at least for us, I mean, we both like the Wild, but we're not coming in like, usually, aside from Tampa Bay, we're not coming in like, I hate this team, and we certainly don't hate any players because we don't know any players.
No.
So it's just watching pure like sport, and then the energy in the Stanley Cup playoffs it's the best playoffs of any sport in my opinion. I don't think it's close. It's so good.
Yeah, because I like baseball, I would say it's close for me, but I get that that's different. Sure. But it's just the fact of like, again, every time I say something nice about baseball, people are like, and that's why I don't like it. But it's like, after 162 games, it's like the fact that like all of that leads to like these few series and games, I think makes it feel more important. But yeah, also to your point of like players, it's hard to like hate players. I'm getting close with Tampa Bay's goalie.
Vasilevsky or whatever. He's good. He's really good.
He's cutting interviews like he cut one after the last game, and it's like, what'd you see from your team out there? And he's like, well, they scored at least 1 goal, and that's all I need. Like,
that's right.
He's just like, was it a tough time out there for you? Nah, not really. Like, he's just like such a. And then on top of it all, another pet peeve of mine. He on top of that is also Russian Mike Tomlin. Because he's like, we just work hard, we grind, we get out there, we put all of our eggs in one basket. Every trip, when in Rome, just out there. So he's getting close for me because he just doesn't seem like he has to try very hard.
No, I like him, and I think I would like the Lightning if they weren't in Tampa Bay. I just don't think Tampa Bay deserves a hockey team. I don't think anyone south of what line did we want to draw? Like, I think the South should have hockey. I think it's not right.
It's the least they can do after the Civil War. That's your punishment.
That's the line, actually. Yes, correct. If you didn't fight for the Union, you don't get hockey. Canada,
the world's whitest sport. It's gone. You don't get that one. That's right. Yeah, that's too dangerous. That's right.
Who cares about the LA Kings? Like, do they even have any fans? I don't think they do. Vegas Knights don't anymore.
No.
Dallas.
Well, listen, hockey fans that aren't in like Canada or the Midwest got to kind of check themselves, because it's like, I'm still mad at San Jose. Like, the Shark Tank was like the coolest thing in sports, and they were like, "Oh, we suck again." To quote the Water Boy. So it's like now no one goes to games. It's like the Minnesota Wild like sold more tickets than they did, and it's from Minnesota. Like, what are we doing?
What's worse than them is the Arizona Coyotes, I think.
Yeah,
like they're getting kicked. They didn't pay their rent, so they're getting kicked out of their stadium. And now they want to build a new stadium in like 3 years or whatever, but they don't currently have the land bought. Like, they're still looking for land. That's how bad it is out there.
Come back to Long Island. when is Long Island going to get their team back, dude? What they should do, right? Put a team in Wisconsin. Honestly, bring it in.
No bias here. We got no stakes in this.
That's the obvious answer. I think that's what they should do. I don't know. Like, honestly, Milwaukee's got to be the biggest city without a hockey team.
No. What? No. There's no way. I don't know what. Okay. You're right. You're right. Prove it. Okay.
I was ready for it. Knowing how little we know about hockey, I was like, neither of us can prove either of the points we're making. Bring it on.
I mean, I can tell you why there isn't a hockey team in Wisconsin, but I can't prove it. So you win. I don't know. I bow down to you, I guess.
Yeah. Here, I'm looking at U.S. cities by population. How far down the list is Milwaukee?
I will say Milwaukee's very close to Chicago, so there's a decent Blackhawks population there, I would say.
There's no way I'm right. There's just no way. We're the 31st, the 31st biggest. El Paso's bigger than Milwaukee? Wow.
Okay, I don't agree with that.
Panther City.
Whoa. Okay. I will. There could. I'll let it slide. Panther City can have a hockey team. No other Southern team can.
Yes. I don't know if one of the Texas teams is in Houston, but they are a very big city.
I don't think so.
Okay, but I'm looking at the cities, right? And I'm going through of like places that don't have any, like areas that don't have any, and like OKC, Portland, but that's close to Seattle, so probably not. Louisville, Baltimore, Milwaukee are right next to each other, and like that would all make sense. Or right under Milwaukee, Albuquerque, and I want them to be the Breaking Bad. That's what they,
yeah.
Come on, yeah. The Walter Whites.
Good. The Walter Whites, Heisenbergs.
The Albuquerque Heisenbergs is a kick-ass.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
There is only one team in Texas. There's no team in New Orleans. That would make sense. But yeah, Houston. I don't know. It seems like Houston could support it. I feel like they would have fans.
I just feel like Midwest is like hockey territory, but then again, like you have to contend with like Blackhawks and Red Wings fans and Blues fans. Who
is there? There's something in Ohio, right?
Yeah, Columbus.
Blue Jackets, yeah.
What a team.
What a team. Okay, fair enough. I don't know.
I'm hockeyed out. All right, we're done with hockey.
It's like baseball. It kind of sucks the soul out of you a little bit, unless you're.
I just wish I was more knowledgeable about it.
Yeah, I have no idea. I'm totally talking out of my ass.
There's still the whole whatever. The thing that still makes me mad about hockey is they're on all the time and no one can figure out how to market it yet. ESPN literally just goes, "They're on. Hope you watch." Like, tell me
Like,
about it.
people
What
are
we
saying
doing?
not enough people are watching the USFL, and there's just as many people watching the USFL as NHL. So what's that tell you?
USFL only has one issue, and it's the fact that
It's
the
gotta be
XFL hasn't started yet, and The Rock is about to like shake Putin's hand or something. He's got to deal with everybody. I think Russ is next. Like, have we tried him as a negotiator? Like, he's got to deal with Disney and ESPN. He's got to deal with the NFL. Like, it's just like poor USFL is like gonna get shell shocked out of the gates.
Well, The Rock is like taking everybody down with him. Like, there's only so many football players. There's only so many eyes that can be on this. And he's like, you know what? You guys are actually doing pretty good. Let's all die together. And he's got the Disney deal. It's Disney and Fox or Disney and somebody else.
Well, ABC with Disney.
Oh, yeah. For like 3 years, I think. That's a big commitment. The Rock's a good talker.
He is. It's just, you hit the nail on the head. Like, we weren't sure if 2 leagues could survive, and I'm pretty confident that 3 can't.
The media deal the XFL has because of The Rock is longer than the 2 times the XFL has been in existence combined. They did 1 season and then a part of another season, and he's got a deal for like 3 years.
I know. It really makes me think that Vince McMahon's not as good a promoter as I thought he was, because The Rock kind of just came in and was like, we have a much better infrastructure already. No, I hope The Rock introduces every game, right? That's what they got to do. He's on the field every time.
Everything's got to be The Rock branded. It's got to be like the smell what The Rock is cooking cam is on top right here. It's time for the what's another thing he says? I can't even remember.
You could stay overnight at the SmackDown Hotel. Everyone's the jabronis.
Yeah, time for the jabroni kickoff here.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
bring it. His little hand. Oh, millions and millions. Yeah, he's got a lot of them. Got a lot of sayings.
He's a good talker, man. I hope the XFL survives. I hope the USFL survives. How did the USFL not get partnered with the NFL? I don't know. And I don't know. USFL's killing it right now, though. For people who want to watch, now that the teams have actually been practicing and together for like more than 1 month, because there's 3 weeks ahead of week 1, and obviously they weren't going to be very good at that point. People are good now. Give it a shot. Watch it. And this week was actually record numbers, so people actually are watching now. But it's been really good.
I've liked it. It's football, right? Like, and it doesn't look like lower quality. Like, it looks like these guys could play. Like, guys plug for the brand. You know, McCrary should be in the NFL, dude. I watched the Stallions
100%.
games, and that guy's a stud, man. He's so freaking good.
He's literally won in every single one of these leagues, and he's been the best lineman in every one of these leagues. And he's only not in the NFL because of the new NFL CBA, where he can't get on a rookie deal. He would have to get paid $1.5 million as a veteran minimum. Which,
do you think the introduction of these leagues changes that the next time they negotiate? Because there's going to be more guys like him.
Probably, but that's, I think, 8 years away.
It won't benefit him. It will benefit the next group, and that sucks. But I wonder if that'll change if they are still around by then.
Right. It's just really optimistic to think one of these leagues is around in 8 years. It's hard to say that.
Dude, I trust in The Rock. I don't know. And Skip Holtz.
Skip Holtz. I need to bring it back up. Inside the USFL, I think a few weeks ago, I asked if Skip or if his dad came in and gave the Bumblebee speech. And Jordan didn't know what the Bumblebee speech was. So I gave the shortened version. I want it. I want to hear the Bumblebee speech from A. Holtz. I don't care if it's Skip. I don't care if it's Lou. Someone tell me how the Bumblebee flies. It inspired me.
So good. Here's what I want. Whatever league is doing poor, I want them to turn it into like like that Holy Moly show on ABC, but I want it to be football's version of Wipeout. Like I want like giant pop-up hands hitting guys as they try and go down the field, like gushes of water are spraying them down. I actually think that could reduce the number of injuries.
Probably. It might actually. I think Pat McAfee hit it on the head that one of these leagues just needs to be a reality TV show. Like just have cameras everywhere, make it a reality TV show, make them all live together, and people will watch it.
Yes. By the way, this should totally be you're gonna have to help me out here. I know I do this all the time where I can't remember the exact name of it. This should be like that TV show about junior colleges.
Oh, Last Chance U. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. They should follow guys like Jordan around and like do that. That's a super. First of all, we talked about this on the show before. Every sports league should do that. Such easy marketing. People have shown that they like that type of thing. Like Hard Knocks, but do it like more accessible, not on HBO, and just throughout the season.
Well, also, like, the reason why people like professional sports is because they get to root for these players that have been made into brands.
Yeah.
Like, it's more than ever. You see that with the NBA. You see that with the NFL. The quarterbacks are marketed so heavily. It's like, yes, I want to cheer for Tom Brady or against Tom Brady. I want to cheer for Aaron Rodgers or against Aaron Rodgers. Now you got Juju Smith-Schuster. You got like wide receivers creating personal brands. With the USFL, it's all people on a level playing field, and no one knows who anybody is. Like, who cares about the lesser talent and play and it's slower? If people just knew who the people were, then people would watch. And we're seeing that a little bit with Scooby Wright, linebacker for Birmingham Stallions. Like, he is just all personality. He calls himself the Shark Dog because that's a spirit animal. He's like a complete character. People like him, and people are like showing up to games now with like Shark Dog posters and shit like that. Like, you just got to market the players. And to your point, like if you just had the Last Chance U, like Hard Knocks, like
steal the F1 show format. I say that all the time, but steal that one because that's exactly what they did. That's why people like that, because like the first thing they did was show the Haas team, and it's like, how is this team who's like, this guy can't get his hand out of a pickle jar, like driving these, and they just love them because they're the lovable losers. It's like the first episode was like Haas is like, I think we got it this year, and episode 2 was them like crashing 8 times. It's like, I do not think we got it this year, and it's like everyone loves them now, and it's like it's the easiest thing in the world. Like Last Chance U, like some of those players and coaches got super over just because they were on TV all the time, running away from bulls. So it's maybe the best episode of television ever. So good.
Well, like a lot of these players too are from JUCO system and stuff like that. Like none of these players had a silver spoon in their mouth, you know, when they're young. They're all like the super hardworking, came from bad backgrounds. So there's so many good storylines if you wanted it. There's also a Stallions player who plays the game with one of those floss picks in his mouth. I want to know why. Like that's all I want to know, actually.
Didn't I see that on The Longest Yard? Like, I feel like that's like definitely something from one of those movies. Wow.
Yeah, not a toothpick, the plastic floss picks. And there was another player in practice. He was practicing with a fake cigarette in his mouth, which is the funniest fucking thing I've ever seen. Not a real one. A real one is funny as hell, but a fake one. So he's doing it just to look cool. And he did.
And he did, and it worked. Smoking's cool, kids. Fake smoking's cooler. Zach, do we want to cross over into a different type of almost professional football?
Yeah, kind of is now. And that's kind of the topic.
It makes more money, certainly.
Yes. College football. College football. There's a lot of issues with the NIL name, image, likeness deal. Obviously, players are getting paid to go to certain schools now. It's crazy. Yeah. And Nick Saban doesn't like that, Jake. And I got to say, I agree with him. Like, Alabama's getting pushed down. Alabama is clearly the face of college football. Like, poor Alabama. They weren't number 1 in recruiting this year or last year, whatever he's talking about this. They were only number 2, Jake. And that's because other schools got to pay their players. Don't you think that's unfair?
This whole story is so fucking stupid. Here's the thing. One, I will not tolerate the idea of Jimbo Fisher trying to be the face. I will not stomach it. I will not participate in even its suggestion. So I was immediately like, the fact that Jimbo Fisher came out and he was like, the fact that someone would accuse our program, the prestigious Texas A&M, of participating in something so foul and atrocious. How dare you? And he was like, you're attacking these kids and their moms and their families. And also, like, Nick Saban being like, good thing Alabama never does that, is also like, come on, Nick, what are we doing? Yes, most of your kids are already rich, but also, like, not all of them. And you told the fact that college football, college sports in general, I love and hate when the blue buds all point at each other and go, look at them cheating.
Yeah.
So you don't see me cheating. Have we mentioned Memphis? When's the last time we got Memphis in trouble? It's been a while. Hit them.
Mm-hmm.
Don't talk about KU.
It's unbelievable. And Lane Kiffin, obviously notable shit stir. He keeps retweeting shit on Twitter, like posting like popcorn emojis. It's like, oh, another press conference is starting. Everyone go watch this. Because he's always, taking shots at Alabama anyways. He is loving this entire situation. And for those who don't know what we're talking about, I do have a couple clips here from the Nick Saban, not press conference. It was some like fireside chat thing, basically. And then Jimbo Fisher called the impromptu press conference the next morning to respond. But we're going to watch this. You can listen to it. You can watch us and watch the clip on the FlurrySports YouTube channel as well. Go there, watch us, and give it a subscribe. But here we go. This first one is Nick Saban. Oh, it actually is a fireside chat. Okay, cool. Yeah, he's speaking on the NIL future and whatnot. So here's this.
They talked about their golf games, but the soundbite that will be heard around the world was when Saban was asked about name, image, and likeness and how it affected recruiting in 2022.
You've read about them. You know who they are. I mean, we were second in recruiting last year. A&M was first. A&M bought every player on their team, made a deal for name, image, and likeness. All right, we didn't buy one player. All right, but I don't know if we're going to be able to sustain that in the future because more and more people are doing it.
What do you think about that, Jake?
Here's what I think about it, Zach. And I looked it up just to be sure. Research live on the show. Jimbo Fisher is so mad about something that he has been proven to do in 2018 and 2019. He has sanctions against him for violating recruiting records. It's like O.J. Simpson coming out and being like, how dare you say I murdered someone? I only did it that one time. What are we talking about? Like, that's the thing. Like, Jimbo coming out immediately and being like, dude, what the hell? And then Saban in this, to start with this, I guess, which was your question, he's right. I do feel like it's really whiny. Don't get me wrong. Like, it is petty to be like, oh, they did it better than us. Wow. Like, you're still the number 2 class. Like, it's petty.
Yeah, I mean, Nick Saban's just saying the parity in college football is just not going to be there. Like, they've been doing it right, Jake, year after year. And now that other schools get to pay to play, essentially, Alabama's not going to do that, though, Jake. Alabama's not going to cross that road. They are not going to pay these players that. And how can they compete? And how is that fair?
God, this is a heel turn for Nick Saban. He didn't like being a face for a year. He's back because
I think he's trying to be the face here.
Maybe, but here's the biggest heel thing he said, right? There's going to be no parity in college football now is a hilarious statement from Nick Saban. It's like, we've been doing our best to make college football a really competitive market. That's what we've been doing for a long time, not curb stomping the SEC into the ground for 14 years. That was the one that like made me mad because I was like, really? You're the champion of like the underdog?
Mm-hmm. We talked about it all last week.
Yeah, that's right.
But Jimbo Fisher heard this, was mad, and called an immediate press conference the next morning. and I do have that clip to listen to. But before I do that, like, people have checked, like what you did with Jimbo. Like, yes, he has sanctions against him. Also, he's never had like more than 2 5-star recruits in a recruiting class, and now this year he's number 1. So it's like, yeah. I think he probably used a little bit of money, but this, if you guys are just listening, I would watch this because his nonverbal reactions, Jimbo, are worth watching. I would say he's not happy, Jake. He's not happy. Here's Jimbo Fisher firing back at Nick Saban.
A reputable head coach could come out and say this when he doesn't get his way or things don't go his way. The narcissist in him doesn't allow those things to happen. And it's ridiculous. But when he's not on top, and the parity in college football he's been talking about, go talk to coaches who coach for him. You'll find out all the parity. Go dig into wherever he's been. You can find out anything. And it's a shame that you got to sit here and defend 17-year-old kids and families in Texas A&M because we do things right. We're always going to do things right. But we're always going to be here. We're doing a heck of a job. These coaches have done a great job. Our players have done a great job. The whole organization of recruiting people. It's despicable that we got to sit there at this level of ball and say these things to defend the people of this organization, the kids, 17-year-old kids and their families. It's amazing. Some people think they're God. Go dig into how God did his deal. You may find out about a guy that a lot of things you don't want to know. We built him up to be the czar of football. Go dig into his past or anybody that's ever coached with him. You can find out anything you want to find out, what he does and how he does it. And it's despicable. It really is. And it's a shame we have to sit up here and have this conversation about things we do. And it's personal to us. Yes, it is. It's personal to A&M. It's personal to our players. It's personal to our coaches and everybody involved. And I know the guy. Know him really well. It's amazing that we're allowed to do those things. It's really despicable. And I hate it for our players who are coming here, who did things the right way, have done things the right way, and will continue to do things the right way. I apologize to you that people insult you publicly the way they're doing it. And our fans, I apologize to you guys for people saying those things about Texas A&M. But promise you this, there are no violations. There are nothing wrong. It's the second time we've had to do this with grown men who don't get their way and want to pout, throw a fit, and act up. Just go ask all the people who work for him. You'll know exactly what he's about. I always said this. My dad always told me this. When people show you who they are, believe them. He's showing you who he is.
Questions? To the left, Olin.
A couple of things, Jimbo. First of all, have you had any contact with Nick since?
No. Oh, he's called.
You just didn't take the call?
Not going to. We're done.
And
he shows you who he is.
and then I just wanted to.
He's the greatest ever, huh?
And then I just wanted.
When you
to
got all the advantages,
Uh-huh.
it's easy.
I love that.
First off, what has Nick Saban done? Like, what am I supposed to be looking up? I feel like Jimbo's just like told me Nick Saban murdered someone. Like,
I think he did. I think he did. Like, remember when he killed the 21-year-old kid at practice? Oh wait, no, that wasn't him. That was what's his face from Notre Dame. Whoops. Well,
Brian
I
Kelly.
mean, yeah. I mean, for sure, like he's killed somebody. That's what he's pointing at here, right?
Well, here's what it is, right? It's the kid who's like, Jimmy cut in line. Yeah, well, Susie spit in your mouth. Like, it was not the same, like, accusations. Like, he's just like, read all the books about Nick Saban. None of his coaches like it. Like, it's like, yes. Also, gotta be said, every scummy coach does this. No one's blaming the families. Absolutely no one is, like, halfway through there, he's like, that you would accuse 17-year-old kids of this is a shame. And it's like, no one ever in college recruiting scandals has ever blamed the kids for taking the deal. Not one person has, except him. He's like, you think that our students would stoop to accepting our bribes? Never. It's like I'm expecting when this comes out, he'd be like, I thought those kids were better than that. Like, dude, so it's like, that's the worst. Also, by the end of it, I like that he kind of lets the cat out of the bag and he's like, people think Nick Saban's a better coach than me. Suck my ass. Like, by the end of it, he's like, greatest ever. Yeah. Like,
yeah, he's interrupting the guy. Like, greatest ever, huh? That's what you think he is? He thinks he's a god, huh? That's what you think he is? Nah, I'm done. We are done professionally.
We're done. He also sneaks in there, best ever. It's easy with his advantages, which is like the subtle, like, if I was at Alabama,
right,
I'd be Nick Saban.
I mean, so you think who's the heel and who's the face in this scenario?
Jimbo Fisher can't be face. So the most face-like thing he's ever done is torn his quad running away from a player trying to dump an ice water bath on him. That's the only good thing he's ever done. I think, dude, because here's really it, right? I think Alabama's face, because in this particular instance, the only way you could say Alabama's a heel is like going and being like, they're doing all the things that they're accusing like A&M of, but that doesn't really work for me just because A&M's not like admitting to it. It doesn't seem like it's a kid like tattling on another kid. It's like, it's petty, but it's kind of funny. And then it's like, but Jimbo's pettier. So it's like, if I had to pick someone to root for here, it's like when they play each other next, who do I want to win? Alabama. I'd like totally want Alabama to stomp them into the mud. I'm still on that bandwagon of like anyone who like curses like Nick Saban's name. I'm like, catch a 70 burger. Like these hands are ready to eat for everybody. I just want them to get like swamped. Especially after A&M like beat them last year. I don't know. Do you disagree? Do you feel like there's a different dynamic at play?
No, I think Alabama's for sure the face here. And I love it. But I love the fact that the last 2 years now, Nick Saban keeps trying to be like undersell himself. He keeps trying to like bury himself a little bit. He keeps trying to play the underdog card. And I don't know why, but I do love it. He keeps it like, he's basically saying, like I said before, now that teams can or schools can just pay players, we're not going to be able to keep up. We're not going to be able to continue to win games, be dominant. But that we know that's not true. And we know, to your point, like he's going to put up 90 points on Texas A&M this year. But the narrative is going to be the Boughton team versus the blue collar, hardworking Alabama. Pull the bootstraps up. Like they've worked for everything that they've gotten.
Yeah, that's totally going to be the narrative. Also, I just thought of this. Georgia has once again become maybe the third most interesting team in the SEC. Poor Georgia's like milk toast in the SEC. Like they need a more interesting coach. They need something. Like they're the fourth most interesting team. I forgot about LSU.
Yeah, LSU and their family down there. They're gonna come for us. That is true.
Georgia's heels because they're boring. That's the only reason.
Yeah. Georgia's, I don't know. To your point, like if it would have taken me a little bit of time if you asked me who won the national championship this year. I don't think I would have named Georgia immediately.
Like, does anyone feel like that should have been a classic, like Alabama beats you, you come back and beat Alabama finally is a really good story, and it did not feel satisfying at all.
It didn't. I don't know. Like
it wasn't a good game on top of it. That didn't help. Yeah. That was probably it.
Everyone was talking about the entire year, though, that this was the most talented team possibly in college football history. And then again, then built Alabama up to be the underdog, which is weird, and made us all cheer for Alabama.
I know. When it was weird because we were all cheering for Michigan the week before, which is still like wild to think back on.
Yeah.
Jim Harbaugh's career-saving year.
He did it. He did it.
He did it.
Good for him.
I'd like to sign my contract now, please. I would love a 10-year extension. Thank you.
Did you know the Vikings want me? They want me so bad. Please give me another contract. and he got it. Good for him.
No, you can't talk to them. I'll tell you.
I don't know. My foot's out the door. I'm going right now. No, Jim, come back. Oh, if you insist. Okay. Oh, Jake. Okay, so that was our football talk. Jake, today we have a sponsor. And this is a sponsor I'm very excited about. And it's a sponsor you've heard of. And that's GoDaddy. You've heard of GoDaddy. You remember the old Super Bowl commercials with Danica Patrick and whatnot. If you go to FlurrySports.org/GoDaddy, you can get your own site up and going today. You can get your domain today for like 30% off. You can get really good domain names for a year for a penny. It's ridiculous. And you may be thinking, like, you're hearing this, like, okay, yeah, I could go get a domain name, but all the good domain names are done. They're all taken. There's none left. And I am here to say you're wrong, because I found a bunch of good domain names that I'm going to give to you right now that you could go and get today. Jake. And I'm going to start with this one, and this is for two of our most loyal fans, Jake. Our sisters. You can get for one penny, HannahandEmily.com. You can do whatever you want with it. Unfortunately, EmilyandHannah.com is taken, but you can get HannahandEmily.com and put whatever you want on there, Jake. What would you want on there?
What I would want is the video that exists online of my sister Emily just wiping out a Menards on loop. Just want that one. Her trying to push a cart, wiping out on camera, and then sprinting to catch it. I'd either want that on there or like recipes that they make when they're really drunk.
Ooh, that would be good. That would be good. If they start their own podcast, that could be on there as well. It could be an entire experience.
Why do I imagine them like getting really drunk and then putting a brownie recipe on there that's just ingredients, 1 box of brownie mix, instructions, C box. That's it. Like follow that. Yeah.
For sure. For sure. And this one, Jake, is on brand with the show. I looked it up. I can't believe it's available. IsMyOvenon.com. 1 penny you can get that for. Is your oven on? Go to the website and find out. I'm not sure if there's any answer for you, but check it out. Anyone can get that. If you're listening, you could get that right now.
But
right
first,
now.
Go see if your oven's on.
Yeah, please. By all means, please do that. And Jake, I'm going to play to you for this one. IowaSucks.com.
No available. Way. That's available?
It's more than a penny. It is $1,000, but it is available. Is it worth every penny?
It's a lot of pennies.
Yes.
But imagine a website that just has terrible statistics about Iowa on it. I want like Yelp, but it's just negative reviews of Iowa. It's a 0 to negative 5-star rating scale. And it's just like, went to gas station. All had was corn. Bad.
Yeah.
Only ethanol.
I know it's a pricey one, but Jake, there is an alternative that is only a penny. So maybe you like this one relatively as much. IowaIsTheWorst.com. Is that good enough?
That's definitely good enough. That's really good.
I mean, that could be your new homepage. It could be everything for you. It could be your new business. It could be your new, not even side hustle. It's going to be your main hustle just to take down Iowa one internet comment at a time.
This also explains to me like how political smear campaigns work. Because it's just like you could get a website for anything. And I want to do it for Iowa and just be like, I want to do a political ad that's like, does waving at a children's hospital make you a good team? Does it make you a good person? Or is it what everyone would do? Iowa thinks so.
Wisconsin would wave at the children's hospital at the first quarter. Iowa waits. Dun, dun. This message is paid for by the FlurrySports Podcast.
Do you think recycling is a bad idea? Iowa does. Dun, dun. Iowa's the worst.com.
That would be good. But you could get that for, again, 1 penny, FlurrySports.org/GoDaddy. There's another one, that'sanockout.com. You could just put a bunch of UFC clips that are all knockouts. If you're wondering, is this clip going to be a knockout? Go to that'sanockout.com. They're all knockouts. Just go watch every knockout compilation. It could be UFC. Could be just people playing football getting knocked out. Could be people like Emily with that clip falling from a cart. She didn't get knocked out, but maybe somebody else got knocked out. And you can find all those at that'sanockout.com. Again, $1 to get started. And I'm going to be completely transparent. I would prefer you to pay the $1,000 because we get more money for that one. But if you want the $1 one, go ahead.
I feel like I could easily crowdsource the $1,000 one. Lend me your dollars, America. Every other state, if the 49 states together each donate $50, we're there. It's bad math. We're way over it, but
you can still do it though.
Yeah.
There's other fees. Here's one. It's a little bit more pricey, but it's a good one. FreeBritney.com. Right now I'm talking about Brittany Griner. Before I was talking about Britney Spears. By the law of statistics, there's going to be another Britney at some point that's going to need to be freed. And you could have FreeBritney.com for only $1,500. That's a good URL. Go get that one. Definitely go get that one.
Yeah.
Why? Here's another one. Where's my dad.fun? It's a different spin. Maybe your dad left to go get cigarettes one day and you just want a more fun perspective to look at it. Where's my dad.fun is only $1. And maybe it'll help you find your dad. That's cool. Right?
If I ever typed that in on my dad, it'd be like, oh, sleep in the chair again. Or like,
yeah. Oh, didn't know. But yeah, there's a bunch of other good URLs that you can go find. Again, FlurrySports.org/GoDaddy. It's a good investment thing too, to be completely honest. Like there's a lot of people that are trying to learn how to invest online to make money. Stock market might be going up and down. Crypto is now going down a little bit. There's that old story about when Jordy Nelson got drafted. Someone bought JordyNelson.com. Jordy Nelson later wanted to buy it, and he bought it from the guy for like $45,000 or something, just because he was faster than the guy's agent. So you could look at like up and coming NFL stars, sports stars, and buy their name.com, and they're going to have to buy it from you. You can start putting some terrible stuff out there. Don't put yourself open for a defamation lawsuit, but like say Jordy Nelson's from Iowa, like smear campaigns like that. Maybe it's not true, but you know what? Jake knows how the old argument. Look it up. Prove it. You can't prove it.
Prove it.
And then all you got to do is threaten that they're from Iowa and they're going to buy it from you. So FlurrySports.org/GoDaddy. You can find some good websites today, Jake. Doesn't that sound like a great deal? $1. That's stupid. That's so cheap.
I'm going to get one that's like people in sports that you didn't know killed someone.org. Like, I just want, did you know he was a murderer.com? That's what I want. And it's just like Tony Stewart. I forgot about him. Like Jim Boeheim.
Stay tuned to next week's show. We're recording these back to back. That could be, I have a URL that might be good for that.
Good.
Might be good.
Can't wait. By the way, this is a throwback as long as we're talking about it. Yep. I've received interest from people on our Unhinged podcast, on our dating app murder podcast that we talked about a season ago. We want to call it Oopsie Datesies. Yes. Unhinged. I mentioned that to students and they were like, I would listen to that for sure.
It'd be so fun. We might have to figure it out. It could be a group effort. It might not just be us. Hopefully not just us. But
if you'd like to see something like that once a month, let us know.
Cool. I'll build a Patreon. If you want to give us all the money to do it, we'll probably do it.
Dude, top tier patrons, we're buying iowasucks.com.
Honestly, that's the main goal. That's all we're working towards.
Yeah.
That could be very funny.
Dude, I feel like Iowa Sucks t-shirts would sell like hotcakes. The only thing that can bring our country together is one shared enemy, and I've got a nominee, baby.
That is true. I mean, we get Puerto Rico involved. We get all the territories involved. Everyone, that's all right. 49 states, territories. We all hate Iowa. I think we just need someone to bring us all together. And
Iowa is literally our Waterloo.
Yeah. You're right.
Deep joke. That's a gut punch joke for people with knowledge of Iowa geography, but that hits hard, baby. You and I, how you doing?
That is True. Go check out our sponsors. And now, Jake, let's talk about Marvel because I watched a Marvel movie. I watched 2 movies today, actually, but we'll talk about one this week, one next week. I watched Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
I'm optimistic on this one for you. And remind me again, would you like me to start the segment by saying what I remember about that movie?
What your overall thoughts were? Did you like it? How does it rank in terms of other Marvel movies, stuff like that?
I really liked it. I think it was less like pure slapstick than the original Guardians, but it actually I really like the plot of it. Like I think they do a really good job with like having a villain that again, at this point in Marvel, they're still doing like the one and dones for villains, but I think the villain makes sense. Kind of feels like a big deal. Like they tie in stuff from the last movie. And his non-biological dad, the guy with the fin on his head who whistles, Merle from Walking Dead. I can't, that's all I ever think when I see that actor. But he's unbelievable. I really like what they do with that story and stuff. Plus, you get a Sylvester Stallone cameo. It's so nice. So this for me is one of my favorite Marvel movies, I would say.
I think so. It doesn't feel like a Marvel movie, at least in terms of what the other ones are, but I liked it a lot. It felt like a complete movie. And I understand some of the other ones, they leave you on cliffhangers, they want you to watch the next one. Marvel movies are truly built to be binged, it seems like. And this is a full movie. They don't start in the middle of a conversation. It's not like you walked in on someone having a conversation in a room. There was an opening sequence and there was an ending, and it was great. I'm like, thank God, it's refreshing. James Gunn did this movie, right? Does he do other ones or no?
Someone's gonna get mad at me. I think he just does the Guardians of the Galaxy movies.
It's so good, and it's to your point. It's funny. It's not slapstick funny. It's just well written. I don't know. It was just
right,
a really
and
good movie.
do good character moments. Even more so than the first one. I don't know, that Mantis character is really awesome. With I also talking about but for pure slapstick, Dave Bautista's character Drax is such a good comedic character. That's such a funny character trait. It's being hyper literal is awesome. The fact that he thinks Mantis is so ugly is one of my favorite through lines in that movie of my wife was beautiful, unlike you, who's atrocious. It's just so awesome. He's standing so perfectly still. Yeah, it's awesome. He's so good. Yeah.
We need more Dave Bautista. I need a solo movie for him. He's so good. The only thing, the movie was really good. I think everything about it was great. Soundtrack, again, was awesome, like the first one. By the way, Mr. Blue Sky. Again, start every movie with Mr. Blue Sky. Please. Just do it. It's fantastic.
They tried for a while. Bring it back.
Bring it, please. I'll welcome it.
Southern Nights in that movie is also awesome. That's the montage where the raccoons booby trapping the forest. That song. The soundtrack in both of these movies has been so good. Father and Son at the end is obviously a really awesome moment. Fleetwood Mac's in there. Yeah, so soundtrack is great.
The only thing they did to pander to the audience, and I get it, was oh, you like Baby Groot, do you? We will give you all the Baby Groot, including a 10-minute scene to start the movie of him just dancing. And by the way, I enjoyed it. I can't say I didn't enjoy it. Him bringing the wrong shit back when they're imprisoned was funny as hell. That was an awesome scene. It's yeah, I don't know, man. Make all the Marvel movies like this. It seemed, you know what this movie did have, actually? And you'll understand this. Other people will understand this if they played the game.
Mm-hmm.
This had a real, Ratchet and Clank vibe. Yes,
that kind of wit and humor to it. Yeah, I totally agree. I think it, in some ways, kind of has a Kingsman type humor to it if you've seen those movies, that kind of wit and there's violence but it's funny. it's a pretty violent movie. Like that scene with they do a 5-minute scene where he just whistles that arrow through everybody's head. Like that's a whole thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that character. But yeah, that's really good.
Taser face thing was funny. That was good.
Taser face is really funny. But no, it's good. Plus, like if you're gonna do a one-off villain, like usually I think it's hard to do that in a way that makes me like actually hate the villain.
Mhm.
Hey, I gave your mom cancer is a pretty
It's a good reason,
good motivator. Yeah. So I felt so bad giving her that tumor. Whammo, let's fight, dude. I was like, yeah, that's a good motivation. Like and spoilers, Kurt Russell's a good actor. He's
He was, yeah. Pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
What's the next movie you watched?
Thor 3. Thor Ragnarok.
Okay, so we won't get into that until next week because I was gonna say like I would say that movie is similar to this one in some of the comedy aspects, and we'll see if you agree next week. But
this was for sure one of my favorite Marvel movies. I really like Iron Man, so it might be below Iron Man, but I think I like it more than the first Guardians movie, and I like it more than any Avengers movie I've seen so far.
I was gonna say, I think this one and maybe the Thor movie are like I've said since you started this project, like were some of my picks for like going to end up near your top. I'm really curious what you're gonna think of the big Avengers movies. We're getting close to them because obviously more Iron Man, but also more of everyone else. So I don't know if like
does Dave Bautista and Ant-Man share a moment? Does that happen yet? Because that needs to happen.
I'm trying to think. They are certainly on screen at the same time. They don't have like an explicit moment, but they're like in a big scene together. I think they have like one little funny moment, but I think like there's a pretty famous scene from the first of like the two-parter of from Infinity War. That's Dave Bautista, Iron Man, and Spider-Man.
Okay.
And that's a really good combo.
I love Dave Bautista, man. He needs to do more movies. He's so funny.
Listen, as someone who's watched some of his other movies, he just needs to do more of like this. Like I think like this is his strength of like being the witty. He's not as good when they try and have him be like the badass like type because he's just so sarcastic and like funny. I need his humor in more stuff.
Could you imagine this will never, ever, ever happen? Just replace Brock Lesnar with him? Because I think Brock Lesnar would kill it in this too. I just love Brock Lesnar.
Yeah. That would be really good. I know.
We need like a buddy cop movie with Dave Bautista and Brock Lesnar. I think that's what we need.
The Ranch.
Yeah.
Just do that. I'd go to that movie for sure. I like that a lot.
I'll stay for the second showing. It'll be fantastic.
Give me the sequel. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's great movie. But Jake, let's do our draft for today. What was your idea for the draft again?
Here is the idea for the draft. You mentioned the game earlier and kind of tying into that. I think today, draft-wise, we should do drafting the top sports video games of all time. I think for the sake of the list, Zach, we can do it one of two ways. We could either do franchises and maybe make it a 3 draft or specific games, and we can do 5 each.
I think it has to be franchises, in my opinion.
Yeah, then I think we need to do 3 each, right?
Up to you. I could go 5. Completely up
Let's
to you.
do 3 first, and then we'll see if we can keep going.
Okay. Who is first?
It is your turn to draft first.
Man, I mean, okay. What strategy do I take? Do I go
also
favorite?
Gonna put it out there? You have to pick the specific sport, right? You just can't say 2K. You gotta like.
Oh yeah. It would be NBA 2K, NFL 2K.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fair enough. You got me. I will go with my first pick. Man, a lot of nostalgia. I don't care. I have to do it. NFL Street is my number one. I fucking love NFL Street. Bring
So
it back.
good.
So
Bring it
good.
back.
I still play it.
Oh, really? You still play
Yeah.
it?
Yes, love it. I love creating a team and playing it.
That is so good. I'm going to go with, we can certainly do 5 because I keep thinking of them.
Yeah.
1, I'm going to steal from you because I wouldn't have thought of Street, but I thought you were going to go this one, and it's going to be on my list. So take that. Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
Yeah. Damn it. I love those games.
So American Wasteland is
So good. I love so many
maybe
hours
one
in
of
that
my
shit.
favorite games. That game is
Same.
awesome. Yeah, I just love those games. It's a game that like is fun to be bad at. It's a fun game to like when you're learning it, it's like, yeah, just go like mess up and do. Like I feel like anyone can play it, have fun. Like is that the best cheat code game of all time?
Sports, I think, yes. I mean,
Yeah.
GTA is great for cheat codes.
Yeah,
so
that's
yeah.
true. That's true. That's probably the right answer. But I just remember some of Big Head and Jetpack is like
Yeah, so
awesome.
good.
Slow fall. Yeah, it's a fun game. My second pick, Zach, I don't know if you'll take or not, but I'm gonna go with Backyard Sports franchise. If you make me get specific, I will pick Backyard Baseball. But
I mean, you can or cannot. It doesn't matter. I won't pick it because I've never played them.
That's what I thought. Big Game Boy games for me. I remember this on there. If you're a certain age, good old Pablo Sanchez is your hero. Pablo Sanchez, the secret weapon, is like a meme on the internet because he was so broken in those games because his stats were like OP and everything. He could just bunt and get the first every time. He's so good. So, and I just remember that's a game. I thought of it when you were saying it earlier of like, I figured you weren't going to take it, but honestly, that's the game. It's like, I'll get an inkling every once in a while of like, I want to go back and play that game. So
that's fair. So good. I'm going to go back-to-back big franchises here, I think. Ooh. I'm for sure going to go big franchises. I'm going between big 3, and I'm going to start with NHL.
Ooh, nice.
I think that's my favorite one of the 3.
It's a great game.
And I kind of want to shame Madden. I don't want to pick them because they need to figure it out. I'm going to go NBA 2K. I think it's a better game. I just think they keep developing and doing good shit. Like Madden does not. I have to go 2K. I love 2K. So yeah, Chell and 2K.
Okay, I am going to go with I'll take Madden. I'm fine with that pick because I think when they hit, it's good. You know what? Can I unpick Madden? I thought of a different game.
Sure.
Because I was just going to say, I've really liked Madden recently because they added something I loved. And then I was like, why wouldn't I just pick that game instead? I'm going to go with the NCAA football game.
Very good. Yeah.
Because I was going to say like Madden's gotten better since they let you like start in college and stuff. But like those NCAA games where you start in high school and like
So
get
good.
recruited. Awesome. And then you can go and like recruit people and like that's great. Bring back though. I know, especially with like the licensing and stuff now, like I wonder if they'll be able to do that eventually. That'd be kind of cool. Pay the people, you know. I wonder if they'll do it or not. It would obviously be a really shrunk roster. You know, maybe you could do like a Power 5 game or something like that. Featuring Cincinnati. I don't know. They're like, you can unlock the Bearcats. That'd be kind of fun. Yeah, I don't know what you'd have to do to bring that game back, but that's a pick that I think that's besides Street, maybe, my favorite football game of like, it's Madden, right? But it's, you have all the fun of recruiting. And then for my other pick, I've been kind of pushing this one back, but I legitimately think this might be my favorite game to play against other people, FIFA.
So good. Not FIFA anymore either. They lost the name.
True. What did they change it to?
It might just be 2K. I'm not even sure. I'm not sure what it is.
2K soccer. But in any case,
It's really good.
It's so fun to play against other people. You get really mad when you learn about the offside rule. That's what I remember from learning it. And those soundtracks always slap.
They do.
Yeah.
That reminds me of when we're playing NHL, we just get hit with like sticking the entire time. We just fucking take everyone's
What the fuck is
off.
icing? Yeah. Yeah. Right. No, and it's so true. And like in soccer, it's like, I don't know who these teams are. Like any of them.
Yeah.
Like it's like, but those games are great. So, all right, you get your last picks here.
Yeah, last two. And I think these two will say a lot about me. Probably I'm not taking Madden, by the way. You could take Madden, or Madden might go undrafted. I'm going with my second favorite NFL game or franchise, and that's NFL Blitz. I love NFL Blitz. That, especially NFL Blitz on the 64. Like I play that with my dad so much, and you're completing passes, Brett Favre to whoever, or you can do the screen. Shannon Sharp bombs it to freaking Rod Woodson. Then you do leg drops on players after the play. It's just fucking bananas. Everyone is like 300 pounds of pure muscle. So good. And then the other one's NBA Jam, whether you're playing it like in the arcade or on an actual system. I logged so many hours on NBA Jam in high school playing as the Celtics. I am Ray Allen in that game. You cannot stop me. It is. I love NBA Jam. And again, I mean, those two games are pretty similar in terms of they're just juiced up versions of their sports.
I am going to go with, I'm totally happy with this last pick here. I didn't know if you were going to take it or not. I've been debating which one to go with. I'm going to go with a wrestling game for my last one. I'm not going to take WWE 2K just because it's hit or miss, though I have heard really good things about this year's game, which I want to get. So they brought back GM mode. But speaking of which, I'm going to go with SmackDown versus Raw versus ECW in like 2007. So that's like in their run of like THC games. And it has GM mode. It has like the Road to WrestleMania mode. So you can like, I remember you could like make a character and like beat the Undertaker's streak. Like that was one of the things you could do, or you could like play like real life storylines as like games. And like, I think like a lot of the other 2K games ended up stealing from that, of like giving you something to like actually play through. And if you've never played like a Royal Rumble against friends, or like a ladder match against people in college, I remembered like people being like, we're going to play a wrestling game, and then sitting down doing it and be like, this is the stupidest, but like most fun. Cause it's like, oh my God, I'm falling off the ladder. Like, it's just like, I don't know what's going on. Am I gone? I lost. Like, it's so fun. It's so chaotic. That's another game that's almost more fun when no one knows what they're doing.
For sure. To your point, Royal Rumbles with friends is fucking bananas, especially when it's like random and you don't know when you're going to come out. It is electric in the room. Yeah, it's so good. It's so good. I did almost go WWF No Mercy. I think that's my favorite one on the 64. I played that a lot. Here Comes the Pain, though, SmackDown on PS2. That was another one I played a lot.
Really good games. Yeah, and those are actually, I know people who aren't wrestling fans who like those games.
Yes. Everyone, honestly, everyone loves those games. And the problem is those games back then, like especially SmackDown Here Comes the Pain, I feel like that game's less buggy than the ones are now, which is a problem.
Yes. I have heard really good things about this year's game not being buggy, but 2K21 was a shit show. So, but 22, I've heard like they took extra time to like get all of the bugs and stuff. The only controversy with it is that and I don't know what they were supposed to do about this, but it's weird still. Like over half of the roster on there are people who are no longer with the company. There's like a ton of people who got released this year, which is like weird. But if you don't know wrestling, then it's perfect. Honorable mention, I really thought at some point I was going to take Wii Sports.
Oh, that didn't even cross my mind. That would have been a good one. I almost took Gran Turismo.
That's good. Would you have counted Mario Kart?
I don't know. I almost did Mario Tennis as a meme.
Mario Baseball. Mario Baseball slaps, dude. I love Mario Baseball. But Yeah, I almost took Wii Sports, but that was a good draft. Like I like all 10 of our picks.
There's so many good games. I mean, the Tiger Woods PGA Tour games are so good.
I was thinking of that.
The
UFC games are good.
Those are underrated good. Those are so good.
Good story modes in those too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hey, a lot of good sports games out there. That's what we found out here today. Look at us. Bold
take. Want to learn more about them? Check out iowasucks.com.
Yeah. That needs to just be, I might change FlurrySports to iowasucks.com. I mean, at this point. Last thing I want to talk about is this, and I forgot about it until you brought up FIFA. Did you hear Messi's coming to the men's league? It's about time. He took his tampon out. He's coming over to the MLS. Congratulations, Messi. You finally are ready to play professional soccer. That is true. Congratulations to you,
All
sir.
it took is his own team, right? Like, that's what's happening. Like, he's buying a team so he can come over. Is he washed? Like, is that why he's coming over? Like, because I didn't think he was washed. Like, I thought he was still good, and then I heard he was coming to MLS, and I'm like, oh, must not be great anymore. But
he wants to play the best. I mean, that's what it is over here. You're gonna have to play the Portland Timbers at some point, bud. Sorry about it. And MNFC, the Loons. Oh God! Wait till you see the lunatics in the stands, including me, and we will sing Wonderwall after we kick your ass, Messi. You are going down, sir.
So dumb. I will say though, an underrated like sports story for me is people coming over to MLS is always really hype. I remember like the commercials of Beckham coming over really fondly. Like that felt like a huge deal. And Zlatan Ibrahimovic is still like one of my favorite athletes ever, just because like everything he says is great. Zlatan is God. Like him, LeBron James sending him his jersey and then Zlatan returning it to LeBron with his signature on it is maybe one of the best things that's ever happened.
It's so funny. That is unbelievable. I mean,
or like he got shit talked this year and he was like, Zlatan is better than you. Want to know why? Because Zlatan is here at age 40 and you are here at age 25. And it's just like, oh God, that's so good. And true.
It is true. It is true. MLS, man, watch out. Watch out, world. They're coming.
Loon Squad. Here we come.
Is that what we do? I don't even know. Jake, anything else you want to leave this show on before we record the next one? So spoiler alert, we are doing a two-parter once again this week due to some scheduling stuff. But anything else you want to talk about?
Here's what I want to close on, Zach. We are getting dangerously close to 100 episodes of the Flurry Sports Podcast. Correct me if I'm wrong. We just recorded episode 98.
That is correct, sir.
Here's what I want to do, Zach. We're going to close this episode and next episode with fond memories from the show. And I know. So here's what I want to do, because we could split it up a bit, okay? Because I think this time you and I each pick one. We pick a memory from since we have started recording again. And then next time we will pick a memory from our first batch. I will go first, because I had about 10 more seconds of prep when I thought it silently in my head. I'm going to go with something that I think is like maybe going to get lost in the shuffle of like everything else. But Hannah and Emily coming on the show to do, I think maybe my favorite song, the Flurry Sports Mr. Brightside song. But also, I just went back and re-listened to that Buried the Lead with them on there. That's pretty electric. I can't get over Hannah's reaction to John McEnroe knocking on David Bowie's door, and then David Bowie being like, "You need to quit playing guitar." And Hannah, you can just hear go, "Ooh, that stinks." Like she's like feeling it, and so that is a memory I remember very fondly, because it's like two of our biggest bits like came crashing together. So I think that was a good episode.
That is true. The first one that popped into my mind, and because I love chaos, I love just pure chaos. I think that's probably the funniest always to me. I think it has to be the Panther City bit. I don't remember what was on air, what was off air, because we kept going when we weren't recording, just diving deeper into the hole that is Panther City. But us going from, first off, talking about lacrosse, which we know nothing about.
Yeah.
I messed up the name of the league the entire time. And then we're trying to figure out what the fuck Panther City is. And then we get mad when we find out what it was. Like, that's so stupid.
Honorable mention to that. Von Miller is up to something.
Oh.
It's
Yeah,
a
that's funny.
great moment. That's like early of us coming back, but us putting together the pieces of like, what is he up to? And it worked out. Who's got the Lombardi trophy? Von Miller. So that arc of like storytelling is, it's like, oh my God, it's working. His plan's working.
It did. And now he's in Buffalo. And Jake, we might get 2.0 of this entire story. I think Von Miller quietly, he goes to who goes to Buffalo and then all of a sudden is quiet? Von Miller.
Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Oh, maybe. No, Ryan Fitzpatrick was loud and proud
That's
in front
right.
of Buffalo or Bills Mafia. Yeah.
No, that's true. So I say you tune in next time to episode 99. Thank you very much for listening. If you like this show, one, support it by going to our friends over at GoDaddy. That's going to be a big help to the show. If you like me, but you wish I was older and maybe with a few more dad jokes, you'll like my dad. You should listen to the Playing Catch Up podcast. Wherever you're listening to this, you can hear that as long as it's Spotify. So please listen to the Playing Catch Up podcast. I thought last week's were pretty good. There's like, my dad drops an elbow on the Cincinnati Reds, and it's pretty funny because it's like we're talking about like why teams are bad, and he's like, I don't think Cincinnati likes their fans. He's just like, I think they hate the people of Cincinnati. I'm like, whoa, hot take. So listen to that. Listen to Inside the USFL. That is so good. I actually really like that show. Listen to the Lombardi Suite. I also like that show. Promise. Listen to all things Flurry Sports. It means a lot. We appreciate all of your support. Tweet at me at Jacob Osman1. Tweet at Zach at Flurry Fantasy Flurry every goddamn time at Fantasy Flurry. Thank you.
And good night.
Stupid.